Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Caley Alyssa, and this is an hour-long practice for back and hip flexibility. In yoga, back bends and hip openers are beautiful ways to release stored tension in these parts of the body, as well as work on the health and the flexibility of these areas as well. So you will need a strap for this practice. If you don't have a strap, you can use a towel or a belt, whatever you have available. So go ahead and grab that and then come on back because we're getting started very soon. Don't forget, if you like this class, click subscribe below, comment, let us know how you're feeling, and also follow us on the Caley Alyssa app. I have tons more on-demand content available. We're releasing new classes weekly for you guys on the app, so head over there and check us out. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started in a child's pose. You'll want to take your knees wide for extended child's pose and press your hips back to your heels, and then go ahead and walk your hands forward, allowing your forehead to rest on the mat here. And taking a couple of breaths just to arrive in your body, calling all of your presence into your practice. And you can take inventory in this moment. Just notice what you're feeling in your body and where you're feeling it. And setting an intention for your practice to honor where your body's at, to meet yourself where you're at in your practice today. Whatever that means for you. If it means you need something a little more gentle and soft, or if you want to put a little bit more energy and effort into your practice. Setting that intention here and now to honor your body's needs. Taking one more big, full breath. Exhale, release. Good. And from child's pose, looking forward towards the top of your mat, slide your way forward, arms straight. Go ahead and extend the legs to straight, resting the knees on the ground. So sort of a modified upward facing dog. Take a big inhale here. And then exhale, pressing the hips back to the heels into your child's pose. We'll do this a few times, looking forward, rolling your body forward, allowing the knees to stay connected to the ground. Lift your heart, lift your chest. And then exhale, push it back into your child's pose. We'll do 3 more like that with your breath. Moving your body, waking up, syncing the breath to the movement. 2 more. Big inhale to roll forward. Open your heart, squeeze your glutes. Exhale back. And then last one. Big breath in. Exhale, pressing back. And then we'll rise up into a tabletop position. So coming onto your hands and your knees. We'll start to do some hip circles using our legs to help us. So the first round, we'll try to isolate your hips without moving the pelvis at all, just moving the head of the femur bone in the hip socket. So let's go ahead and start with your right leg. As you inhale, lift your right knee without moving the pelvis. So you could even maybe take your left hand to the back of the pelvis and just feel if it's tilting at all. And start to draw circles with your right knee without allowing the pelvis to move. So you'll take 3 or 4 circles in one direction. If it's too much to have that left hand lifted, you can bring it down. Okay, and then you reverse and take it the opposite way. There's no rush here, so move really slow. Again, keeping your pelvis neutral as you circle the hip. Good. And then release the knee down and we'll switch sides. So go ahead and lift the left knee, open out to the side, maybe taking the right hand to your lower back, the back of the pelvis. And then keeping your pelvis neutral, go ahead and start to circle that left knee. So you're moving the femur bone around in the hip socket without allowing the pelvis to move. And you can take 3 or 4 circles in one direction, and then when you're complete, you can reverse. Take it the opposite way. Good. And once you've done the same amount of circles in the opposite direction, go ahead and let the knee come back down to the mat. Tuck all 10 of your toes underneath behind you and sit back onto your heels for a moment. From here, interlace your fingers, invert your palms, and reach your arms up. Take a big inhale. Lift your heart in your chest. As you exhale, release the arms down. Give yourself a hug round into your back body. Good. And slowly release. Taking the hands back down to the mat, untucking your toes. Now this time, lift your right knee up and out to the side. Allow your pelvis to tilt. So do big, huge circles now. Letting your pelvis move as much as it wants to. Doing 3 or 4 circles in one direction, and then reverse, again, taking it the opposite way. Good. And then go ahead and extend the right leg back behind you. So from here, again, you can check that the pelvis is neutral. Draw your low belly in to support your low back. Bend into your back knee. And then if it's available, you could reach around with your left hand, grabbing hold of the foot, holding here, or try to draw your heart forward as you kick the foot into the hand. Make sure your right shoulder draws back as well here, so your neck is long and spacious. Allows the heart to have a little bit more room to open. Good, and then gently release, bringing the knee down to the mat. Just kind of wiggle your hip side to side to reset, and then we'll switch sides here. So when you're ready, you'll extend that left knee up and out to the side. Allow your pelvis to move now. So we're doing big, huge circles on that left side. And once you've done them 3 or 4 times in one direction, you can switch, take it the opposite way. Good. And when you're ready, extend the left leg back behind you, and now try to find that neutral pelvis. So maybe just test with your right hand again and see what the back of your pelvis feels like. Draw your low belly in so your low back is supported. And then start to bend into the back knee. See if you could reach your right hand back for your left foot. Watch the left shoulder, it's gonna wanna collapse. So pull your left shoulder back. As you start to move your heart and your chest forward, you can kick the foot back into the hand. Now, if it's not possible to grab your foot, you can always use a strap here. I've got my strap at the front right of the mat. So that's an option. Find your breath. All right, and then gently, slowly release, bring your hand down. Once more, retuck your toes, sit back onto your heels. This time, interlace your fingers and just draw little circles with your wrists, like figure 8s. So moving side to side. Slow down your breath as you're doing this. Good, reverse it in the opposite way. All right, and then untuck your toes. Sit onto the tops of your feet, leaning back here. Hands come behind you. Lift your knees off the mat so you feel a stretch in the front of your ankles. Shoulders are drawing back. Good, and then gently release that. Coming forward, finding downward facing dog, our first down dog of practice. Go ahead and bend your knees, rock your hips side to side. So as you already know, we'll be doing a lot of hip and heart opening. We're also going to be doing a lot of fluid movement. So let's get further into the right side. We'll do a couple of rolls here, just rolling forward into plank position first. So finding your navel drawing into your spine like a wave as you come into plank. And then bending your knees and pushing all the way back into your down dog. We'll do a couple more like that. Big inhale, rolling forward into plank. Bending your knees, pushing back into dog. 2 more. And 1 more. And then from dog, step your feet closer towards one another. Inhale to reach your right leg up and back behind you. Go ahead and bend into the knee. Find scorpion dog, opening into the hip and the pelvis. And then inhale, re-extend the leg, coming all the way forward, keeping your back toes tucked. Gently place the top of your right foot down on the mat. Find upward facing dog, this time with the knees lifted. One foot tucked, one foot untucked. And then exhale, lifting up and back into your down dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, big inhale. Exhale, come all the way back forward into that up dog variation. Good. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale up. Exhale, roll it forward to up dog. Good. And then from here, push it all the way back to downward facing dog. All right, we'll do the left side. So big inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, bend into the knee, scorpion dog, opening your hip. Take a big inhale, re-extend the leg. Exhale, coming forward into that up dog variation. Good. Big inhale, lift your heart and chest. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, big in-breath. Exhale, extend the leg, shifting forward. Big inhale in your upward facing dog. Exhale, push it back to your downward facing dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, big breath. Exhale, shift it forward. Last time, big inhale in your up dog. And exhale, push it back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, coming to the end of your mat. And then bend your knees a lot so your chest and your thighs connect. Taking the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Big inhale, roll your shoulders open, lift your heart and chest as you drop your hips low. And then as you exhale, keeping your chest and your thighs connected, start to extend the legs to whatever space feels good in your body. So maybe that means all the way, maybe you keep a bend in your knees. See if you could push the base of the wrists to touch here. And then allow your head to hang. You can even shake out your head a little bit side to side if that feels good. Maybe rocking your head yes and no. And if you do that, just end on a yes. Good. Releasing your hands down, take an inhale, look forward and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, walk your way back out into your downward facing dog. From down dog once more, lift that right leg, take a big in breath. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Look forward, take an in breath. And as you exhale, we'll take your right knee all the way outside so that it touches your right shoulder. Hold here. As you inhale, see if you could lower the knee down to the wrist. Exhale, lift it back up outside the shoulder. We'll do two more like that. Inhale, lower. Exhaling, lift. And one more time, lower. Exhaling, lift. Now step the right foot outside of your right hand at the top of your mat. You can come onto your fingertips here, allowing your hips to descend really low. So this is that apana, that energy moving downward towards the earth. So you can even play with little pulses up and down. You can rock forward and backward on your back toes. Try to open your heart, your chest as you're doing this. Good, and then go ahead and release your back knee down to the mat. Walk your front foot in between your hands. Okay, and then take an inhale, and as you do this, roll your shoulders back, open your heart a little further. And then as you exhale, we'll straighten out over your front right leg. Okay, inhale, you re-bend into your right knee, lift your heart and chest. And this time on the exhale, you'll bend your back leg, driving your heel towards your glute. Okay, let's do that again. Release the leg, take an in-breath. Exhale, straighten over the front right leg. And then rebend into the front knee, inhale. And exhale, bend the back knee. So we're working on your quad, your hip flexor, and the strength of your posterior chain. Let's do it one more time. Big inhale. As you exhale, straighten the front leg. Good, and then inhale, rebend the knee. And as you exhale, bend the back knee. So we'll stay here with the back knee bent. Place your left hand down. Reach around with your right hand, grabbing hold of the foot. Now again, if you can't reach the foot, you can use your strap and wrap it around that back foot, grabbing hold of the strap. Allow your right knee to open. So you're splaying onto the outer edge of that right foot. So it's like an easy twist, but you're kind of getting into the quad and the hip flexor here as well. This is going to help us out as we progress a little further into our practice. Good. Just a couple more breaths here. Again, you can play with that little pulse down and up of that apana and that prana, that rising, opposing force to apana. All right, and then from here, go ahead and release the back foot. As you do that, you can push down into all four corners of your front foot. So your hands are on the inside of your front right foot. Tuck the back toes under and straighten that back leg. You'll step your left foot outside of your left hand at the top of your yoga mat, coming into a yogi squat. So descending your hips down and lifting your heart and your chest up. Okay, so big breaths here. You can kind of wiggle if this feels good to you. Good. And then in Malasana, see if you can do this position without your elbows pushing into your knees. So keep the knees opening. Bring your hands back behind your head. Your elbows are open wide. So lift your chin up off your chest. Push down into your feet and then feel apana, that energy of dropping and letting go. So everything moves down to the ground. And then do the opposite of that. Feel prana, so lift your pelvic floor muscles in and up like you are going to stand up. Lift your hips up a couple of inches higher than where they were before. Breathe. Stay with me. Again, apana, so let everything go. Relax and contract, kind of hang down towards the ground. And then push down into your feet, pull your pelvic floor muscles in and up. Lift your hips maybe a foot higher than where they were before. Breathe. Good. Drop it all back down. Apana. Round the spine a little bit. Let everything go. And then push into your feet. You know where we're headed. Lift your hips about a foot and a half, about the height of your knees. Breathe. One more big breath. Good. Last time, coming all the way down to that squat, apana. So everything softens and releases here. Good. Then pull it all in and up. Ascending energy. Lift the hips a little higher than your knees. Elbows open wide. Chin off your chest. For 3. For 2. For 1. Come all the way up to standing. Invert the palms. Reach your arms up. Take a little back bend here. Lift your heart, your chest. And exhale, release, folding all the way forward. All right, on your in-breath, lengthen your spine, fingers to shins. As you exhale, step back, or you can hop back, moving through a full vinyasa here. So lowering through chaturanga. Coming into upward dog, maybe low cobra if that feels better in your body. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Take a big inhale here through your nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Good, and then inhale, roll all the way forward, coming into plank position, and hold your plank. So as you hold your plank, bring your toes together to touch. And then without letting your feet move at all, the feet stay still, the shoulders stay still. Just start to turn your hips an inch or two to the right and an inch or two to the left. So we're activating the very low, deep abdominal muscles. Just going side to side, side to side. Stay with it here. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Good. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale out from the mouth. Okay, let's do the second side. Lift your left leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee and open your hip. Big inhale. As you exhale, bring your left knee all the way up and outside of your left shoulder. Hold here. If it's available, as you inhale, drop the knee down to the wrist. Exhale, lift it right back up. Okay, 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Exhale. Now step your foot outside of your hand at the top of your mat. As you do this, allow your hips to descend without letting the back knee touch. So we're finding that apana, that letting go, that grounding energy here. As we open the hips and the pelvis, this targets the reproductive area in the body. Again, you can kind of rock forward and backward on your back toes. You can work with lifting and lowering to feel that energy in your own body. Part of the body that Scorpio rules. All right. And then from here, go ahead and allow your back knee to drop down to the mat. Place your right hand flat on the ground and then reach your left arm all the way around, grabbing hold of the foot behind you. So you can come onto the razor's edge of your front foot. Allow that knee to open as you pull your back foot in. Watch your front right shoulder. It's going to want to collapse and take the path of least resistance. So push into the palm. Externally rotate the head of the shoulder back. As you're here, pulling your heel towards your glute. Couple more breaths here. All right. And then really gently release the back foot. Okay. Take your hands down to the ground. Tuck the back toes under and walk your front foot in between your hands. All right, now we take a big inhale. Allow your hips to descend into that apana, that grounding, one more time as you lift your heart and your chest. And as you exhale, you'll straighten out over the front left leg. Right, as we do this, we sort of compress that reproductive area in the body. And then go ahead and re-bend into the front knee. Big inhale. And as you exhale, you'll bend your back knee without grabbing it, just bringing the heel to the glute. Okay, go ahead and release. Take an in-breath. And exhale, straighten over the front leg. Do it again. Big inhale, open your heart, your chest. Exhale, bend the back knee. Okay, last time. Inhale, release the back knee. Exhale, straighten over the front leg. And last time, inhale, bend. And exhale, bend that back knee. All right, really good. Tuck the back toes under, re-extend the leg. Taking your hands inside the front foot, you'll look forward, big inhale. Exhale, step the right foot outside of the right hand at the top of your mat. Coming back into that malasana, yogi squat. Hips down, heart is lifted. All right. Again, you can kind of wiggle side to side here if that feels good to you. And then push down into your feet. Find that energetic lift and then release it. Okay, do that 2 more times. Push down and lift. Exhale, release it. And 1 more time. Push down and lift. Good, and then exhale, release it. We'll come all the way up to standing here. So big inhale, lift your heart, your chest, a little bit of a back bend. And on your exhale, fold all the way forward. Take a big in-breath, lengthen your spine, fingers to shins. Exhale, place your hands down, step back or hop back. Move through your version of Vinyasa, whatever that looks like for your body. Maybe Chaturanga up dog, maybe cat-cow. And we'll meet together in downward facing dog. One more time, roll forward, come into plank position. And this time we'll lower on the count of 10 all the way down to our belly. So slowly bend your elbows, shift forward, lower for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way down to your tummy. From here, reach your arms out wide to your sides. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, we'll lift everything up off of the mat. Palms facing forward, so your thumbs are up. Start to bend your knees and imagine the backs of your hands could touch your outer ankles. Good. So you can stay here, you can grab your inner ankles, or you can shift so that your thumbs point down, a little easier on your shoulders. Coming into bow pose, okay? Any version that feels good for you. Push the hips down to lift your thighs up. Lift your heart and chest up. Find your breath. This is the perfect pose for Scorpio. It really presses against the pelvic floor area, your reproductive area. Opens your heart, your chest, gets your blood flowing. All right, good. And then gently, slowly release. Press your way back into child's pose here, hips to heels. Good. And then from child's pose, come up onto your shins. Take an inhale. Reach your arms, your chest up. Exhale, come right back down into your child's pose. Swing the arms down by your sides. Do it again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back. Inhale, up. And exhale, back. Last time. Big inhale, come up. And exhale, come back. Good. Slowly take your hands forward. Find your way back into your downward facing dog. So we're going to play a little bit here from down dog, working on hopping up into squat position, malasana, at the top of the mat. So maybe this looks like stepping up. Maybe it looks like a little tiny baby hop. Maybe it's a big hop. Okay, whatever feels good and best in your body. We'll try it 3 times. So as you inhale, lift high onto your toes. Look forward. On your exhale, bend your knees. Hop all the way up. See if you could land your feet outside of your hands in a squat. And then we'll do that 2 more times. So step it back. Downward facing dog. Take a big inhale. Lift high onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Hop all the way up. See if you could land in your squatting position. And then we'll step back. Last time, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Lift high onto your toes. Bend your knees, look forward. Step or hop all the way up. Find that squat at the top of your mat. Hands to your heart center. All right, so this time in our squat, we're gonna work on opening into the shoulders and the heart chest a little bit more. So take your right arm and shoulder inside of the right knee. Reach your left arm up. Good, open here, lean back. All right, and then switch. Left shoulder inside of the left knee, reach your right arm up. Open, lean back with your heart, your head. All right, and slowly, slowly release. Good, from here, place your hands down. Step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat, turning your right heel down, taking your right hand inside of the front right foot. So we're setting up for Warrior 2. Go ahead and windmill your arms open and drop into your Warrior 2 position here. So really similarly to what we just did in our Malasana, reach forward, create some length in your right side body. And then you can either bring your elbow to your knee and that top arm up and over. Or you can bring your elbow inside of your knee and that top arm up and over. Okay, so you're pushing your elbow into your knee to rotate your heart and your chest open. Breathe. Good, I'm sliding a little bit, so my shoulder is coming inside of my knee. You can do that too. Okay, keep pushing the knee open, breathe. Good, and then look down towards your right foot. Place your right hand in front of the foot. We'll come up into Ardha Chandrasana. It's a balancing pose. Couple options here. Option A is to just stay right where you are. Find your balance. Option B, you can play with lifting your bottom hand and lowering it. So you're contracting your left side body to help with that lift. Option C, bend into your back knee. Reach around. This should feel vaguely familiar from the beginning of class. Kick the foot into your hand. Open your heart, your chest. Good. Gently release the foot if you have it. Bend deeply into your front knee. And see how slowly and gently you can step all the way back to Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, right away we'll come into Star. So reach your arms wide. Take a big inhale. Facing the side of your mat, exhale. Do it again. Big breath in. And exhale. One more time. Big inhale. And exhale. Good. Finding Warrior Two facing the back of your yoga mat. Bending into the front knee. Making sure that knee is stacked right over your ankle. And as you arrive, we'll reach through that left hand. So get really long in the left side body, pulling the left thigh bone a little deeper back into the hip socket, engaging the low belly. And then you can bring your elbow to the knee and reach the top arm over. Or you can bring that elbow inside of the knee, pushing the knee and elbow in towards one another. So you're creating some resistance and energy there. Breathe. Try to relax and soften your face. You can play with that apana and prana, grounding and lifting energy even here. Notice how that feels in this position. Okay, and then when you're ready, extend your top arm up. Look down towards that left foot. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana, so kicking off your back leg, lifting your right leg up. Option A, stay here, breathe. Option B, work on lifting and lowering your left hand away from the mat. Option C, bend your back knee. Reach around, grabbing hold of the foot, kicking your foot into your hand. Play around with the angle of this, so the hip in line with the knee lifted over the hip. Different versions. If you have the back foot, gently release. Re-extend the back leg. Bend deeply into your front knee. And see with how much ease and grace you can come back to that Warrior Two. We're going to face the back of the yoga mat here. So windmill your hands down inside of your front foot, heel toe the left foot over to the edge of your mat, stepping back up into your squat, malasana, at the back edge of your mat here. So we're gonna play with crow pose in arm balance, okay? Placing the hands down at the top of the mat, you'll lift your hips so the knees come right behind your armpits. They could also be a little bit on the outside of the legs, squeezing the outer arm in and up. So you can play with that, whichever feels best for you. You look forward, slowly begin to lift one foot off the mat, maybe both feet as you shift your weight forward. Your gaze is forward. Breathe. Good. When you're ready, you can step back or hop back, move through any kind of vinyasa that feels good in your body. And we'll come back into downward facing dog. Okay, big inhale through your nose. Exhale out from the mouth. We're gonna play with 3 malasana hops now facing the back of our mat. So you look forward, lift high onto your toes, bend your knees. step or lightly hop all the way up, finding that Malasana squat at the back of your mat. 2 more times like that. Good. So remember, this could look like stepping up. It could look like the smallest little hop. Whatever works for your body. Just play, explore. Big inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Hop all the way up to squat. And then we'll do it 1 more time. Step back to your down dog. Take an inhale, lift high onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Hop all the way up to your squat. This time we stay here. We're gonna go a little bit deeper now, working on a bound variation of Malasana. So taking your right shoulder inside of the right knee, wrapping that left arm behind your back, and see if you could reach around, grabbing hold, coming into the full bound variation here. If that's not available, you've got a strap. You could reach the strap behind you and hold on to that, okay, to help you in this bound version of your pose. Whatever your body needs. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So left shoulder in front of the left knee, right arm reaches up and back. We come into a bind, whatever that looks like, whether you're holding the strap, whether you're just reaching back there, whether you got your hand. Try to roll the shoulders open. Try to open your heart. Find your breath. Maybe even play with that apana and prana, grounding and lifting energy here. Okay, gently release the hands. Place your hands down, lift your hips a little bit. Step your right foot all the way to the back edge of your mat, prepping for warrior 2 with the body. So drop the back heel down. As you do this, bring your left hand inside of the front foot, or bring that elbow up to your knee. Okay, so we're working on, same thing here, this time coming into a bind, wrapping the right hand behind you, and either working with a half bind, so allowing the hand to come inside of the thigh and the knee on that front leg, or working with a full bind, reaching the arm underneath. Again, apana, that letting go energy, is going to want to drop you down here. See if you can find the posing energy, the prana, the lifting up energy, and find your breath. Now, whether you're in the bind or the half bind, you'll start to look down at that front left foot, shift the weight into your left foot, and see if you could lift the back leg up. So you're in bound Ardha Chandrasana. Ooh, you might lose your balance, and if you do, that's okay. This is all about exploring your body, seeing what's possible today in this moment. And when you're ready, slowly release the bind. Step all the way back, finding star, facing the side of your mat. Big inhale. And this time as you exhale, we'll fold into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands coming all the way down to the ground. Okay, inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale to fold. And one more time, inhale to lift and lengthen, walking your hands forward. Stay here on your exhale. Bend into your knees, press your hips back as you reach your heart forward. Good, and then extend the legs. Externally rotate your right toes out. We're coming to warrior 2 now, facing the front of your mat. Okay, either working your right hand on the floor inside of your right foot, or elevating your right elbow to the knee. Reaching your left arm up, take a big inhale. Exhale, swing it behind you for the half bind or for the full bind. Remember, apana is that letting go. Prana, the opposite of that, is that pulling in and up. So if you feel for that prana, that rising energy here, to help with your stability, with your strength, with your endurance, find your breath. All right, and then slowly begin to look down towards the front right foot, okay? Wiggle your back left toes in a little bit. Hug your right hip in. As you do this, see if you can find bound Ardha Chandrasana on that second side. My left feels a lot different than my right. Yours probably will too. If you're falling out of it, just get right back into it. Do whatever you can. Half bind, full bind, maybe no bind. Okay, and then gently release, windmill the hands down inside of your right foot at the top of your mat. So we're gonna walk that right foot over to the side, stepping the left foot outside of the left hand, bending the knees, coming back down into your yogi squat. Take one inhale here. Exhale. Come all the way up to standing. Big in-breath. Exhale, release. Hands down by your sides. Okay, walk your feet a little bit closer together towards one another. And then from here, working with dancer pose. So again, you have a strap. If you know that this will be helpful for you, you can grab your strap up your foot here. Okay, I can show that variation. We're using dancer to open a little deeper into your hip flexor, the front of the hip. So we'll start with the right leg. You can strap your foot up or not, bending into the right knee. Left arm reaches up. From here, if you have a strap, you're gonna use both of your hands to walk down the strap. And if you don't have the strap, you'll start to kick your foot into the hand, lift your heart and your chest. Okay, see if you can stay elevated and lifted with your body as you kick your foot back. You lift your heart and your chest up. Okay, notice how this feels in your body on this side of your body. Okay, and when you're ready, be very careful if you have this strap because you're spring loaded. So take your time to come out of this and release and just shake it out. We'll move to the second side. So if you're using the strap, you strap up your left foot. You bring your strap up and over your shoulder. Try to keep the knees close towards one another so you're not moving the hip in an external rotation. You're keeping neutral here. And then either grabbing hold of your foot or walking your hands down your strap. And once you're there, you kick your foot into your hand. Lift your heart, lift your chest. Find your breath. If you're not breathing, that means you probably have gone a little too far. So you can just back off a little bit. Allow yourself to find your breath once more. Okay. Slowly release. Again, be careful because you're spring loaded. Okay, you can set the strap to the side. We're gonna come back to that in just a moment. So at the top of the mat, let's take a big inhale. Lift your heart, your chest. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Lengthen your spine as you inhale. Step back or hop back. Vinyasa as you exhale. Meet together in downward facing dog. Okay, from down dog, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee and open your hip. And as you exhale, slide your right shin all the way forward, but don't let it touch the ground. Hold here, lift up into your belly, lift your shin higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the shin down at the top of your mat for single pigeon. So today, instead of just doing regular old single pigeon, we're gonna play with doing king pigeon. If this sounds like a good idea for you, if it doesn't, please enjoy a regular version of pigeon, okay? You can come into a sleeping pigeon and fold forward if that feels best. Otherwise, we'll be working on bending the back knee and grabbing the back foot. So again, you might want your strap handy for this, okay? And I'll show you what that would look like. So in this version of pigeon, right now, all of my energy is moving down in that apana. I wanna find the opposite of that energy and find a little bit of buoyancy, a little lift here. As I find that lift in and up energetically, my energy will start to move up this way. I can begin to bend into the back knee, just like we did at the beginning of our practice. Now, maybe it's possible for me to reach back there and grab hold of the foot, and maybe not. Okay? You might need to strap up your foot, and then again, use the strap in this position so that it would come up and over your shoulder. Okay? And once you found that strap or your foot, just like you did in dancer pose, you lift your heart and your chest up. Maybe you walk your hands down the strap. You find that buoyancy in the posture, and you make sure you're breathing. So not forcing anything that doesn't feel good. And And whenever you're ready, again, you're really gently and slowly, if you have the strap, going to release that. Unhook your foot from the strap. Place your hands down, tuck the back toes under, and step back into downward facing dog. And just be neutral here in down dog. You can wiggle your hips a little. And then lift up onto your toes, allow your heels to fall to the right. Push your hips back. Come back to center, lift onto your toes, allow the heels to fall to the left. Push your hips back. Good, coming back to the center, lifting your left leg up and back behind you, bend the knee, open the hip, big breath in. As you exhale, slide your left shin all the way forward like you were coming to pigeon, but don't let it touch the ground, okay? Lift up into your shoulders, your upper back, and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the shin down towards the ground. Allow your hips to descend, untucking the back toes. So again, you can honestly do any version of pigeon that you want. Okay, otherwise I'll be guiding you through king pigeon as our body is prepped and ready for that. So find that buoyancy in this position. Feel a little bit of lift up, away from the mat. And then once you have that, maybe you could bend the back knee without the strap, reach back there and grab hold. Maybe you need the strap. Okay, you can strap up your foot and again, bring that strap up and over your shoulder. Wherever you are, they're holding the back foot or you're walking your hands down your strap, keeping the buoyancy here, the lift, making sure you can breathe so you haven't gone too far. And then feel that opening, the whole front body, the hip flexor, the heart, the chest. Good, and then when you're ready, really gently release the back foot, take the strap off. This time, swing your hips to one side, bring both legs out in front of you for Dandasana, staff pose. So sitting up tall here with your spine, bring the hands down next to you and just take a couple of breaths here in this position. Good. And then begin to round into the back of your pelvis, tilting the bottom of your hip bones forward. And do the opposite of that. Tilt the bottom of the hip bones back. Almost like you're doing a seated cat-cow. So round into the pelvis. Good. And then draw the hip bones back, sticking out behind you. A couple more like this. Round. And back. Good. 2 more. And last one. All right, and then really slowly we'll start to round all the way down onto our backs. Coming all the way down, pulling your knees into your chest. You can gently rock side to side on the low back if that feels good for you. Or maybe even drawing little circles with your knees. Good. Placing your feet down on the ground. Bending into your elbows, finding a 90-degree angle with the arms, hugging them tight to your rib case, making little fists with your hands. Push your shoulders down into the ground. And as you do that, slowly begin to peel your tailbone, your mid-back, your upper back off the mat. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, lower from your upper back to your mid-back to your tailbone. Big in-breath. Exhale. Good. Slowly lifting the tailbone as you inhale. The mid-back, the upper back, and then exhale. Lowering all the way back down. We got one more like that. At the bottom, big inhale. Big exhale. Inhale, lifting low back, mid back, and upper back, and then stay here on the exhale. So any version of bridge that feels good for you. You can bring your hands under the low back. You can do supported bridge if you have a block handy. Any version of this posture. You could lift one leg, you could lift both legs. One more big inhale. Exhale, slowly rolling down from the upper back to the mid back to the lower back, and then allow the knees to knock together and your feet to walk out wide and rest. So you've got one more back bend, one more big energizing push. You can either do bridge or wheel here. And we're gonna get into some nice, delicious twists. So you decide if you're ready for bridge or if you wanna move a little further into wheel. Placing the hands down next to your shoulders, hugging your elbows in. Take a big inhale. Lift low back, mid back, upper back. And as you exhale, either lift to bridge or to wheel. Find your breath. And when you're ready, really gracefully, gently rebend your elbows. Coming all the way back down. From here, you'll lift your feet off of the mat. Find a 90-degree angle with your knees, crossing the right knee over the left knee, and then coming into cow face pose. So you can grab hold of your shins here, or if it feels good, you can grab the outer edges of the feet, making sure your ankles aren't collapsing if you're grabbing the feet. And then you want to lift your heels up away from your butt cheeks and towards your shoulders. This is where you'll feel the most stretch. But you can explore your body and explore moving your feet around in different positions and find where it feels really, really good to you in your low back and your outer hips. You're welcome to stay here a little longer if this is feeling delicious for you. Otherwise, just release the shins or your feet, whichever you're holding. Keep the cross of the knees and allow your knees to fall up and over to the right. So you're coming into a reclined twist. If it's too much to have the knees crossed, uncross the legs. And we'll take a few breaths here in this twisting position. And then slowly uncross the knees here. Swing your right leg forward and down towards the center of your mat to bring yourself back to the midline. Good. And then from here, you can rebend both of your knees, hug them into your chest just like we started. And we'll move into cow face pose on the second side. So bring those knees to a 90-degree angle. Cross the left over the right. Reach down, grab hold of the shins or grab the outer edges of your feet. Work the feet off of your butt cheeks and towards your shoulders. You'll feel your glute med, your outer hips, and you'll feel a lot of spaciousness in your lower back. If you've been practicing with me for a long time, you know that I love doing this position after deep back bends. It's a really beautiful way to release. Release the spine, the back of the pelvis. And then we'll keep the legs crossed, just releasing the feet or the shins, whichever you're holding on to. Allow your knees now to fall to the right. So we're coming into this reclined twisting position on the second side. Notice how different the sides feel from one to the other. Notice if your body's tensing or gripping anywhere that you can soften and release. And then to come out of this, you uncross your legs, swing your left leg forward, down, and around. So you come back to neutral on your mat. Last thing here, pull your knees into your chest, squeeze tight. Lift your head and chest up off your yoga mat. So you're curling into a tiny little ball. Now from here, extend your legs straight up to the ceiling, so right over your hips, and then reach your hands up towards your toes, okay? Lift the hips up just a little bit off your yoga mat, and then pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up there, lift, lift, lift. Reach as high as you can, maybe get your hips a little higher. And then exhale, release. So we're coming now into final resting pose, Shavasana. You can open and close your feet, flopping your toes and your heels in and out a few times. You adjust yourself on your yoga mat so your whole back body feels really soft and comfortable, spacious. Let's take one last huge breath together. So big collective inhale, filling all the way up. Hold the breath in at the top. Imagine you could breathe all the way down to your pelvic floor and your reproductive area and the bowl of the pelvis. Hold the breath. And then part your lips, exhale, and release.